Welcome, your faces, back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It really helps the channel out. We're absolutely churning our way to 5K. If we can get to 5K, that would be gross. So thank you very much for that. If you are a member of the channel, welcome to you. You can become a member of the channel, join the crew. Link is in the description to do that. We do all sorts of wacky, weird, and wonderful stuff. And we've got some exclusive content. So enjoy that. Be part of our live stream crew. And what we're doing today, the preview. Richmond, Carlton at the G. The traditional opening fixture of the AFL. It is round 2, round 1, whatever this round is. We are with a bye the week after. So this will be our last one for a couple of weeks. So I'm excited about this. So let's get into it. Vibe check. Carlton obviously going into this game on the back of a very brave and a very hearty performance versus the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba. Breaking the hoodoo, breaking a duck, and answering another big question that the Blues have. And that is kind of what the Blues have become recently. They have really become like the annoying kid on Mastermind. I don't know if you had that in Australia, but Mastermind, it feels like we're doing a Mastermind Junior. We've picked something really obscure and we just got 20 in our allotted time. We are really starting to become the answerers of questions. A parent is probably a good analogy for everyone to understand who has kids. And that is something that really excites me about the boys. The big thing I have noticed about these Blues is they found their brand. They have found their identity. You kind of know what you're going to get with our boys. You're going to get rugged intensity. Once that pressure comes up, we know it's good. And what was really good to see was the ability of the boys to get their heads down, knuckle down, and wrestle momentum of a game back, which was really, really important. Richmond, on the other hand, their vibe won't be so good. They got absolutely decimated by Dimmer's Gold Coast, and it really was showcased their problems lying in stoppage and clearance. Never been one of the most successful stoppage and clearance sides, as we know from them, but it was really, really on show here. They really did take the game to them, particularly in and around the clutches, winning by 39 Gold Coast. Although there is some players coming back for them. We do know that they've brought back Dustin Martin. They brought back Tom Lynch. They have got the cavalry arriving. They have come back. They're ready to go, ready to rock and roll. And that is going to be an interesting one. Carlton obviously haven't made massive changes. Corey Durden returns to the side, which probably was an area of concern for the Blues when we did seem at times in the first not willing to be first and front and centre to the ball. We know that's what Corey Durden's strength is. It's a very intriguing matchup of this on paper. Carlton obviously have got the vibes. Richmond haven't. But in front of both crowds, home deck, really, the MCGs, even though it is Carlton's game, they will feel a lot more relieved to be back in the home of Melbourne and know that they will have a big support. We've talked about the last time out. Obviously, no need to say Carlton won by a point. Gold Coast defeated Richmond by that. But last time out, what did we find out? Like we say with Gold Coast had great success with pocket leads from the pocket, coming up to that half-forward line, and then exiting through the corridor with pace. And it was with numbers. And we saw that with Carlton. Carlton effectively deployed their high halfbacks, Sard and Zach Williams, to almost be extras in the midfield. And Akers and Hollands with their elite running would help on the defensive chains, creating 2 blocks of 9 either end. This is going to be important because Gold Coast did something very similar. This is a very Richmond 2017 style of defence, the team defence. And that is something that caused chaos with Richmond. They did have some success when they upped their ante, and the only way to defeat it is really bringing the pressure as well. But Carlton will know they are a lot more pressure-based than Gold Coast. Gold Coast, obviously, their first year of trying to learn this game style. Carlton have been doing this for a few years now. This will be an area of concern. Richmond were very, very wasteful with their inside 50s. And there was a lot of intercept opportunities in this game, particularly for the Will Powell absolutely taking the Michaela Strachan at times. Sam Collins really did embrace that as well. A lot's going to be expected there of Lewis Young, but Mitch McGovern. Mitch McGovern was the kingpin in Carlton with the way that they set their defensive trap. And we saw a massive change almost being the exaggerated version of how we were in Geelong, of massively condensing the corridor and making that kick be a little bit longer. Once it took the accuracy away, and Carlton created that trap with Mitch McGovern. And it was interesting. We do know that Richmond have tried to target Carlton's weaker defenders in the past. I expect Brodie Kemp to be targeted again. Carlton's way of negating that was setting Brodie Kemp on the fat side of the ground, making them switch. And when it did come, it was a very kick to a more shallower pool, which Carlton had great success. And that's where they deployed Adam Sard, who took a lot of their marks. I expect to see that again, but I expect to see Richmond be a little bit smarter. Dustin Martin returns. We know that that point of difference in the midfield is huge. And at times, Richmond looked incredibly one-paced. And I don't like using that word, but they did look really flat-footed. This is going to be an interesting little methodology here, because Carlton have brought another player that they have deployed on the ball. Speaking to my spies up at Coburg, Durden did pinch it occasionally on the ball, and that is something that Voss will do. And Carlton last time had more rotations in the midfield than we've seen before, creating lots of different looks there. And that is going to be something that's important, because looking at Richmond's main trio versus Carlton's main trio, minus the ruckman, Carlton will have the edge in all the facets, and that is going to be an interesting area. Areas of concern, we've touched on it for Carlton. Obviously, it's them entries inside 50. And what we did see, two massive issues in that first quarter, was when the ball hit the deck in the 50, Carlton weren't diligent and weren't quick to turn that into attack. There was indecision, which then created the other area of concern. And this is where Richmond are very smart. And we did see that with some success against Gold Coast once their pressure went, of making that only kick available to you is either running it out and taking it on, or going down safe down the flank. And this is an area of Richmond are very smart at. They played Shai Bolton at times quite deep in the forward half of the ground in case that kick came out. So he was there at the fall of the ball when it came back. Brisbane killed Carlton in this avenue. The other area of concern for Carlton was when the pressure wasn't there and they weren't front and centre and weren't trying to attack in drops, it was the ability to kick through Carlton's first wave. And that first wave can't sit back. And Richmond, although they have the ball users, they really don't have the energetic pace of a Brisbane. So, but the problem still remains. A kick travels faster than the man. Carlton have got to make sure that they are very hot and the pressure is good early. Because what we did see with Richmond, and we did see it in stages in the preseason, the heads go. They don't feel like they have that natural leader down the back. There is some inexperience down there. It's no longer that grey area there. Broad is getting older. Grimes is getting older. Carlton need to look and get their players in. And that is an issue for Richmond. They don't have natural matchups for Curnow and Mackay. And what Carlton did when they started to move the ball through the corridor and a little bit quicker, it changed the angles. It allowed them to lead very early and lead their defenders into space. They haven't got Harris Andrews, and Carlton negated his influence incredibly well in the second half by switching on him. And there was quite a few moments there when you go back and watch the centre bounces, Carlton almost changed every time, to giving him different looks and changing his rhythm. Carlton can do this quite successfully, and I think both sides will be looking to isolate a defender. I think Richmond will be looking to isolate Kemp. Carlton will be looking to isolate Mr. Dylan Grimes, because I feel like that'll be a strength with Durden and the Smalls in their Fantasia and players, that they can change it up. Areas of success, I think for both, is through the middle and the stoppages. We know Richmond do like to feast on stoppages when they are playing their best brand of football. We know Carlton are the kings of this area and clearances. Only really Melbourne and Carlton are the ones who are dominant in this area. This will be an area here where the midfield has to hum for both sides. But Richmond may be not the kings of clearance. They are the kings of turnover, and Carlton did show that maybe they're the princes of turnover game. And that is something that Carlton have started to add, particularly in the preseason. You've seen a lot more willingness to turn and go quickly. And that is the big issue with Carlton. Last year, when people were hating on us, we would get the ball back. It took a while to get into the good ball users. We have seen a massive change in how hard Cerra, Boyd, and players like Mitch McGovern work to make themselves available, the better ball users to get that ball going. And Cerra was a big part of this in Carlton's turnaround. The distance he covered and the distance he got to make himself available and be that conduit to get it into the midfield. and seeing Hewitt as well work as that kind of static defensive midfielder who they can hit and get the handball off with a run and go. This is going to be a real battle here because whoever's turnover game is on song means they're always in chance. And if Carlton can bring that turnover game with their stoppage and clearance work, which wasn't quite at the races last week, could be really intriguing in this one. The keys to win this one is that winning it at the source. If Carlton can win it at the source, they're in with a great chance of running in a big number because their forwards are better than their opposition defenders. This is going to be a really intriguing battle and one that I'm really excited about. You know Harry's in form. Charlie's in form as well. They've got two players there that can take the game away. Tom Lynch is coming into the side and Dustin Martin, obviously, if they fire Carlton, are going to have a bit of problems. They haven't had a lot of training, though. They are going to be slightly underdone. And it's obviously they've brought them back in because they know the magnitude of this game. Going 2-0 into your bye is huge. And for Carlton, that is the big carrot. For Richmond, 1-1 is a huge win. Carlton will have to look at this and look, if we can get our forwards going with some quick ball movement and our transition game, this is the game that Carlton can really put in a statement. The matchup battle for me, Lewis Young versus Tom Lynch, that is going to be a huge battle. And also Harry Mackay up top playing against their more medium-sized players. When you look at this time, you'd imagine that Charlie Curnow will go up against Grimes, just with the natural way that they set up and the natural way it is. And it's probably a good matchup. You don't have to play someone tall on Charlie. You have to play someone there who's mobile. When we know Dylan Grimes plays more in that pocket, I can't see Tyler Young getting him too much. But you'd imagine the other one will get Harry. And Harry, they will try and flip. When you watched last week against Levi Casbolt and Lukosius, Gibcus and Broad all spent a bit of time with Tyler and Dylan. They do switch it up. Carlton will be looking to isolate them. And I think Gibcus is the area Carlton will look to target. We know he likes to attack the ball early like our mate Brodie Kemp. That is going to be a huge matchup. And also the midfield trio. I think Cripps and Hewitt up against Hopper and Prestia is going to be where it's at. That is where we're wanting to see. We're wanting to see that battle. And it's been very interesting that Kajitsky, Banks, Ryan and Naismith have gone out. They've really got rid of some height. You can see that they're set up there to play a myriad of Carlton's games. They've got the two talls there now in Bolter and Lynch up top, and then they're going to try and outpace it. But you look in the midfield, they're definitely going to be using them bigger bodies in Hopper and Prestia to try and stop that. And I don't think the most important player in the midfield at the moment is Cripps. I think it's Hewitt. He's the metronome and he's the defence duty. And he's going to be like their Prestia. He's going to be the guy who stops people coming through. That battle between who can stop better, Hewitt and Prestia, will be huge. Because when Hewitt got on top, Carlton got on top. It meant the players could play football. He is the man who makes players play better, as is Prestia, the little meatball at Richmond. He makes the other players play better because suddenly they don't have so much defensive responsibility. This is a huge matchup. Tune in tomorrow to watch the Warriors Circle. We're going to do that as a separate show, so you can all enjoy that. Thank you for the feedback for that. I'm looking forward to that. My prediction, Blues by 27. I can't wait for this one. Come and see me on the watch along tomorrow evening. Make sure you stay tuned. And tomorrow you should see a wonderful special video with me and Jesse. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. You guys and girls mean the world to me. Peace, love, and light. Palm out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella